Look who just woke up. Oh my goodness, she's so tiny. Oh. Hey guys, welcome back to NB's Hamsters, and today I'm going to be talking about why hamsters need large cages. So oftentimes when you walk into a pet store, the first cages that are going to catch your eye for hamsters are going to be cages that are generally very small. The companies that I would look out for are Critter Trails and Tiny Tails cages. Those are very small cages that you can see very often in the hamster section of pet stores. These brands market their stuff towards children, and they don't care about the actual welfare of the animal. A lot of times the cages are bright with bright colors and more suited towards children. And if you go up to one of the employees there, they are going to tell you, no, it's okay, I've had a hamster live in there, it's completely fine. But in reality, it is not fine at all. You should never be putting your hamster in something less than 450 square inches. So a lot of people will ask the question, why do hamsters need large cages? One of the big reasons why hamsters need large cages is because in the wild, their territory is larger than a human house, which is a lot of territory. You can never go too big for your hamster. There have been so many times where I'll look at people's cages and I just feel really bad for their hamster because it is very small. The bare minimum is 450 square inches of floor space, and if you have anything less than that, it is considered unsuitable and you're causing your hamster a lot of stress. When a hamster is put into too small of a cage, you will often see them chewing on the bars, and when they're chewing on the bars, it is not good for their teeth because their teeth can chip off or break, and that can cause a misaligned tooth, which is not fun for your hamster. When a hamster is placed into too small of a cage, it causes them chronic stress in their brain, which is very not good for the hamster's health. There was a study shown where people put 60 hamsters into different sizes of cages. They put them into small cages, they put them into decent sized cages, and they put them into really big cages. And as it went higher and higher, the chronic stress slowly started to go away. That shows you that hamsters need a lot of space. A lot of people think that the employees at pet stores are educated on hamsters and whatever they tell you is true. A lot of employees will give you the wrong advice because all they want to do is sell you their cages. One of the cages that I do recommend is the IKEA Detail glass cabinet. It works like perfect for hamsters, especially Syrians, because it is hard to please Syrians. If you've ever had a Syrian hamster before, you know that it is super hard to please them. They really never are completely happy. So you can never go too big for a cage. Another cage that I do recommend is bin cages. Bin cages are perfect. You take the biggest bin that you can find in the store that is over 450 square inches, and you basically cut out a big hole in the lid and then mesh it over, and then your hamster can live in the bin, and that's okay. The only reason why I wouldn't use a bin cage is if your hamster is an over-obsessive chewer, but a lot of hamsters don't enjoy chewing, so that's not really a problem. How you can measure the square inches is you measure the length times the width in inches, and that'll get you the square inches. if it is under 450, you definitely need to upgrade your enclosure. Even 450 is very small for a hamster, and I would recommend going way bigger than that. There's a big stereotype with hamsters where they say that they like small cages, or because they're small animals, they deserve to live in small cages, which is so far from true. Just because a hamster is a small animal doesn't mean that you should be keeping it in a very small cage. Just because hamsters are small doesn't mean that you should be keeping it in a small cage. There is a difference between surviving and thriving. Surviving is you get the basic necessities for what you need to live, and thriving is having a good, enjoyable life. So please make sure your hamster is thriving, and they do need really a lot of space. A big cage is definitely needed with a hamster. If your hamster is in too small of a cage, they can develop something called wet tail, which is a very deadly disease in hamsters, and it appears mostly in Syrians, but it can also appear in dwarfs. And wet tail is basically where they get so stressed out that they get sick, and when they're stressed, their immune system gets weaker and weaker until they can develop illness very easily. And wet tail is a very common deadly disease that kills so many hamsters because they're in too small of a cage. So please keep your hamsters in a bigger cage. There's also another stereotype where people think that dwarf hamsters need less space than Syrian hamsters, and while Syrian hamsters need very big cages, dwarf hamsters need the same minimum because dwarf hamsters are very energetic and need a big space to run around and play in. A Syrian hamster is a little bit slower, but they need big stuff, and they most likely will be very not happy in too small of a cage. So please keep the minimum to 450 square inches. I cannot say that enough because so many people have put their hamsters in these little cages, and it makes me so mad to think that those poor hamsters are in little cages. So that basically wraps up the video today, guys, and I hope this was an influence to you to upgrade your cage if your cage is too small, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys!